All right, I'm about to start. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 1, Episode 19, The Average Man's Perspective on Football. I am your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
Mark.
Good evening.
And Brian.
Happy holidays.
Before we get started, I want to encourage you to go over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary and opinion on everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. Also, want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe to the video. Like the video, share the video to all your NFL fans, and hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. Also, check us out on Twitter at what is it, Brian?
The Live Game 3.
At the Live Game 3. So we're going to get started. Last week was a lot of good games, a lot of playoff implications going down. Let's talk about it.
Hey, another exciting week. I'm almost sad, y'all, that we getting to the end of this season. Man, there's been some real nice games.
Seems like this season just kind of like blew by.
It did. It has.
It
has.
It always does.
It has.
It's hard to believe we're in week 17 already.
I know. We started out with the draft, so that was exciting. Week 16. So we're gonna start off with the first game. We had the San Diego Chargers against the Baltimore Ravens. Brian, who did you have in that game?
In this game, I had the Chargers. I felt, being at home, the Chargers and that Baltimore offense. I thought that the Chargers defense would play it much better. Obviously, they didn't. Baltimore ran the ball down their throats. Pretty much controlled that game throughout. Phillip Rivers was just not himself. Couldn't get the ball thrown accurately to his receivers. The receivers weren't even getting as open as they should. Baltimore's defense is legit. They did a good job.
All right, Herman, who did you have now?
I had the Chargers too. It's funny because Jackson actually outplayed Rivers. He was 12 for 22, 204 yards and a touchdown. Rivers was 23 for 37, 181 and 2 interceptions.
A bad pick in the beginning of the game, first play of the game.
And that's my only thing with the Chargers. I had a little bit of a problem buying into them because I've seen that. You've seen this with the Chargers before. Phillip Rivers can be a really great quarterback, but then at the same time too, he can hurt his team. I mean, any quarterback can, but he just has these weird games sometimes where he just falls, kind of falls apart, and you just don't see it. So, props to Baltimore for pulling out that win. And like Brian said, the defense is definitely legit.
Yeah, on this particular game, I didn't choose well. I chose the Chargers too, much like Brian. Same reasons you said, Brian. But normally, Phillip Rivers sometimes have bad games, but you seem to overcome them. I think the big key in this game was when Lamar Jackson threw that nice little pass to the tight end, and they ended up scoring. It was like that gave them the boost of confidence to go on and win this game. But the Chargers, like I say, they I think they're the hottest team right now. Despite this little blemish on their record, I think they're still a team to look out for. But
and they're getting healthier. They're getting healthier too.
They are. Marcus, who do you have on this one?
I also picked the Chargers, but I got to disagree with you, Mark. I actually think the Ravens right now are probably the hottest team in the NFL. I think anybody that has to play the Ravens in the playoffs should be very scared right now. We say all the time when we talk about Dallas, if Zeke gets, so many carries and so many yards, they're going to win the game. If Lamar Jackson gets over 200 yards passing, I think they're going to win the game. I think this is the first over 200-yard game he had since he started. And, they just dominating that run, and the defense, that defense is very good. So I think the AFC should be, everyone in the AFC should be very scared of the Ravens right now.
How many yards did Melvin Gordon get in that game?
Melvin Gordon had 12 attempts for 41 yards and 1 touchdown.
Wow.
I think Keenan Allen didn't do well in this game either.
He had 5 receptions for 58 yards.
Yeah, there was another one. So
It was just they had 3 turnovers. They had 2 interceptions and Antonio Gates lost a fumble. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next game we have. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Seattle Seahawks. I go first in this one. This one I actually took Seattle. I'm sorry, Kansas City. I took Kansas City. I thought Kansas City would roll on them. I was surprised on how well the Seattle hung with them and played defense in the particular game. Marcus, who did you have in this one?
I think I was a lone wolf for this one. I picked the Seahawks. I just felt like the Seahawks are hot right now. I just felt like they were going to win. And it's always, Kansas City, they're good except for their defense. It's always their defense is bad, which is I think might haunt them in the playoffs. They really need this home field advantage because if they're gonna have to go somewhere and play, that defense is gonna lose in the game. So, I was right this one. I picked the Seahawks.
Okay. Herman, who'd you have?
Yeah, I went with the Chiefs on this one. I really thought that the Chiefs were I thought they were gonna roll on Seattle too. I didn't think Seattle would be able to keep up offensively, but the Chiefs might need to, like Marcus said, their defense. They may just need to start thinking about trying to play a little bit more ball control football because they have an offense that can score explosively and pretty much from anywhere on the field. They might want to reevaluate the way that they play because you're leaving your defense out there now. You might want to think about slowing it down just a little bit, and then when you need to make that explosive quick play, then maybe try to go for it that way. But you need to start keeping that defense off the field. I mean, if you can score pretty much from anywhere on the field, you should be able to methodically move down the field and make longer drives. So that's something they may want to think about.
Brian, who you have?
I was with you guys that was on the panel. I also went with Kansas City on this particular game. Seattle did their thing. Russell Wilson was out there. Carson was running all over that Kansas City defense. They played their type of ball. Defense did what they had to do. You didn't hear a ton from not Kareem Hunt, but number 10. Wide receiver.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. He had a couple good plays, but he wasn't as explosive as he normally is. Like you said, Marcus, the tight end, didn't really do much in that particular game. They played a really well. Seattle played a really good defense against Kansas City. I was thinking about what you were saying about them being able to run that ball more, but I'm curious if they actually would be able to because they're down like their second and third string running backs now. After the Hunt issue, I think Chakandrick West. I think he might still be injured.
The running back they had in Damian Williams, he was 13 for 103 yards. So they were able.
Okay. He had a good night. Yeah, he did.
Okay. Yeah, he broke a nice couple of run plays on him.
But I think it's some of the decision making that Mahomes makes on like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and he's chucking it 30 yards down the field.
Yeah, that is true. Instead of just a lot of times he could just run for the first down.
Yeah, just get the first down. He's looking for the big play, almost the home run. It seems like a little too much.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
So he's
you okay, Marcus?
I'm good.
You got the red cup over there. All right. The next game we have on tap is the Houston Texans and the Philadelphia Eagles. Herman, who do you have in this one?
I went with Houston. They've been playing so good, but obviously I was wrong. It was a back and forth game. I didn't see much of it because I think Dallas was playing at the same time the Eagles were playing. So I was watching that.
You was watching Dallas,
yes, sir. Oh. But the Eagles are a little hot right now. Not the team that I kind of want to see get into the playoff. It's something about this damn Nick Foles. They get behind this guy, and I feel like I'm not going to say it can happen. If Nick Foles drives the Eagles into the playoffs a little deep, if they get in the playoffs and they make a little bit of a run here, the Eagles really have a situation they need to think about. Carson Wentz wasn't playing that great earlier. And Nick Foles comes in and is proving to you he can play this system, he can get everybody involved, and the players rally around him.
As a relief quarterback, though, he wasn't doing good in the beginning. He wasn't doing
good.
He wasn't, but the whole team really wasn't at first. But he's coming in now, and they don't have nobody. Everybody is injured. but they playing lights out.
Yeah, that fool threw for 471 yards.
And they're not on tag for like big contracts right now.
No, not for him or for
the
Wentz.
thing is, he only signed a 1 year, so he's actually gonna be a free agent.
Yeah, they could keep him though.
They
But
could
Wentz,
keep him. Oh,
Wentz,
absolutely.
Wentz
But it won't cost him a lot. It won't cost
Wentz
him a lot.
isn't costing him.
No, he's still a rookie contract.
Yeah, 4th year rookie contract. So that's gonna be an interesting thing.
Yeah. On this game, I lost. I had Houston much like Herman did, but man, they had a quarterback duel between Deshaun Watson and Nick Foles. Deshaun was 29 for 40 for 339 yards with 2 touchdowns. Nick Foles was 35 for 40 for 471 yards and 4 touchdowns. Only Nick Foles threw the interception, but they were able to pull this game out. I didn't think they would have been able to do it, but they did. Marcus, who did you have in this one?
Well, I didn't see this coming. I picked the Texans, and the Eagles just went in there and just, did it up. And much like Herman, I do not want to see the Eagles in the playoffs, but it looks like they're going to make it. They have to play the Skins next week, and it looks like they might make it. And 1 year was enough. You don't need Eagles fans another year to Eagles fans. So let's just go ahead and shut this thing down. Whoever they play in the playoffs and get it over.
Fly Eagle fly? No.
No. Ain't no more Eagles fly.
All right. The next game we got is the Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, he doesn't have to answer.
It's okay. Did I miss you? I'm sorry, bro. Who'd you pick in this?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I picked Houston also. The whole crew picked everything wrong. None of us was right, but I mean, like Herman said, I mean, I was keeping an eye on the score, and Houston came back at the end, threw a nice pass to Deshaun. I can't remember the wide receiver's number, but a nice little pass to put him up, and then Foles did what he had to do, get him down in field goal range, and Ertz had a nice catch at the end to get them down close enough to be able to kick that field goal and win that game. Philly is definitely a scary team right now. I agree with all of you guys. I would prefer, Minnesota just beat the Bears and get in the playoffs, and let's go from there. I really don't want to see Philly. I really don't.
Now we can go on to the next game.
Yes.
Cleveland versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll let you go first, Brian. Who did you pick in this one?
I picked Cincinnati, and I picked wrong again. I'm trying to look at my sheet to try to figure out where I picked right this week. I don't know if we're going to get to that game, but Cincinnati, I thought, I mean, it was a boring game. We weren't really too enthusiastic about it, but, Baker has this little attitude and this little desire just to shove it to his old coach. I mean, he was even like, showing him up, walking down the side, jogging down the sideline, staring him down like he's a player or something. But, it was a good game. Cleveland did what they had to do at the very end to get to the win. So, I mean, congratulations to Cleveland.
Yeah, on this one, I chose the Browns on this one. So, I was a winner. But Baker Mayfield was 27 for 37 with 284 yards with 3 touchdowns. So, he had a little mojo going in there. He was really working, and that tight end Njoku, he's a beast. I think he's something to look out for him too. Marcus, who'd you have in it?
I picked the Browns. I didn't know that Andy Dalton. What's Andy Dalton's issue? Why is he not starting?
He's hurt. Broke his hand.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Y'all knew that. Why would y'all pick Why would y'all pick the Bengals?
It's because Trubisky, or not Trubisky. What's his name?
Marvin Lewis.
No,
Jeff Driscoll.
Oh, Driscoll. He was doing okay. They had Joe Mixon. He was having a good season. They were running the ball really well.
I mean, it is Cleveland.
And I mean, yeah. So
Until they prove something otherwise.
Well, I think they've improved over the last. They've won more games this season than the last 2 years. So that's a big improvement.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't win, because they only won one, it's a big improvement. Yeah. But I mean, it's not really that big of an improvement if you base it on an average NFL team.
But you look at their play all season long, man. They've been in every single game.
They're starting to learn how to finish them now.
Yeah, and finish games. Yeah. It's key. Herman, who'd you have in it?
Yeah, I had the Browns. I actually picked Cleveland on this one.
How long wolf this one?
Yeah, I think
he did.
Yeah, I just felt the Browns. Cincinnati is spiraling. I'm so tired of Baker Mayfield, though. I'm ready for somebody to pop him in the mouth. I don't like that. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a little bit too cocky.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna get his.
I don't see what this beef with Marvin Lewis is. I mean not Marvin Lewis. Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
He was fired.
I don't understand it at all. Me either.
And it would be. I understand it. I would understand it more if it was a player. You know, it was a player that left. You know, like Josh Gordon. You know, you left. You went to the Patriots. So I can understand a little visceral and a little want to get back at him, but he's a coach.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything but coaching.
Yeah,
Give it
exactly.
up.
Yeah. He just needs to shut up. I don't. It was something about him when I watched the Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I felt something. I was like, I don't know what it is about this kid. I don't care for him that much. So we'll see. Have a long career first before you start messing with coaches who's been in the league
some longevity
before you was born.
Yeah. Next game we got. Do we really have to talk about this?
I wasn't sure if you were going to just skip this game.
I mean, we're here to talk about it. So
you can do that one last.
I think we are.
The New Orleans Saints and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Marcus, who did you have in this one?
You know, I picked the Steelers. I thought they were going to come through, and because they were fully aware that this was a need to have game, and they just didn't pull it out. But it's in New Orleans. Saints are on fire. What can you say? I picked wrong.
Herman?
Yeah, I picked the Steelers too. I thought that they would go in there and win it, and they came close. But Ben was 33 for 50, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns. Breeze was 27 for 39, 326 yards, 1 touchdown. I think when I was watching the game with my son, I kept saying Ben's going to throw about 50 or 60 times in this game. I feel like y'all got to get more. The Steelers have to get more balance.
Exactly. Why are they throwing so much?
They're throwing too much.
That's way too much.
Especially when you're playing the Saints, when the key is to keep that offense off the field, and you're throwing 50 times. It's way too much. Even for Ben Roethlisberger, it's too much. But I picked wrong.
Brian?
I have on my sheet that I picked New Orleans, but I could have swore I picked Pittsburgh. Yeah, I thought Mark won
the longest.
I don't know why I circled incorrectly. I do apologize. I'm pretty sure I was on the Pittsburgh bandwagon because I felt like they needed it. They had to have it much more to keep Baltimore off of their back, which they didn't accomplish because now Baltimore has the lead right now, and if they win next week, then they take the division. And it was a good game. It was a really good game. Really, the Steelers played up to their name. A couple questionable, calls. The fake punt. I can't really, hate them for it. Sometimes you just got to be aggressive, especially with a team like New Orleans. You want to try to steal a possession, but
is that aggression? Huh? Is it aggression to fake the punt, or is it aggression to just go for it with your offense?
Well, yeah,
it's still a bold. It's still a bold call either way.
And they didn't make that, did they?
No, they didn't. I look at it like I only ask that because when your offense is on the field, you obviously have much more talent on the field at the time to go for it than to do the trickery. So I know you're just trying to catch them off guard, but I don't know. Sometimes this is when I think the coaches get a little too smart for themselves. If you know you want to go for it, just line up and go for it.
I get it. But you remember in the Super Bowl when New Orleans played the Colts and New Orleans did
the onside kick. That's a little different though. I see that. I look at that one a little different. Yeah, you possibly could have gave up. You could have gave up that possession, but it was right at the beginning of the half. Maybe not as momentum shift as it is. I mean, it's hard to coach in the NFL. I know.
Yeah. I think it really depends on where it's at in the game too, and where you line up. When Pittsburgh did it, they were close to, 50, close to 50, 45-yard line, and Saints didn't score anything after that. So to me, I don't think it was a gamble worth it.
But again, to me, that's all the more. The way I see that is that's all the more reason to keep your offense on the field in that position of the field to get that.
Pittsburgh been known to do this. Yeah, Mike Tomlin's been known to do this for a long time.
Absolutely.
So it comes down to this was probably the most heartbreaking loss this year for me. I chose against my team, and I won this game based on that. But man, that team is too talented to come down to this. When early games, you could have clinched, you could have won, you could have did, and they couldn't do it.
It's the Raiders game that's going to be that difference. It's the Raiders game.
But they've been playing like this for the last 2 or 3 years, where it's just there's just
I mean, you're right, because the Jaguar game, they fought around to the fourth corner and finally got it.
They can't put teams away when they're supposed to. Now, granted, Boswell is I mean, I love it when he kicks straight. But instead of putting 3 points up, you gotta get touchdowns against these teams. You have to put up 7 points,
especially against the Saints.
Yes, you don't leave all this stuff on the field, man. And like I say, it was the most heartbreaking loss for me so far this season. But nevertheless,
so how does Steelers get in? The Ravens have to lose.
The Ravens have to lose. They still have to win. The Ravens play Cleveland, and Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati. So
what about the Titans? Does the Titans game affect that?
No.
The Titans and the Colts, whoever wins that game is
winning in. Yeah,
they win the division though.
Yeah. So last game we had was the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. I went to sleep on this one.
You watched?
I did watch some of it. I did.
I chose Oakland.
It's football. It's hard not to. It's like a habit. Monday Night Football.
I chose Oakland. The only thing I was more disappointed in, I like Lindsey Phillips, the running back, and he hurt his hand, and I'm a little disappointed in him in that one because he was an alternate in the Pro Bowl, so he don't get a chance to get the Pro Bowl money and the winnings because of that. So I'm a little disappointed in him for that. But other than that, I took Oakland, so they won. Who did you have, Herm?
Denver, and they lost. And I didn't watch.
Brian, who'd you have?
I also had Denver and Vance Joseph. It was nice seeing you, but the way that your team played.
We're gonna talk about that.
We are just a real hand. Just the way that your team played that game, it let Oakland throw and pass all over y'all and run all over y'all. Man, it was sad. It was a really sad day.
Marcus.
I picked the Broncos. Much like Herman, I didn't even watch the game, and I knew it was a conscious effort to watch the game. I was watching something else. I was wide awake watching something else.
You ain't gonna lie. I was playing Risk with my family. I don't Christmas. I think Ryan is right.
In fact, you probably had
that's what I was watching, a Christmas story. That's exactly what I was watching.
I think Ryan is right. They might be looking for a new coach next season to let Oakland come in, and win that game. And I heard they booed. I heard they booed Oakland because that's the last game they're playing there.
Yeah, that's the last game they're playing there.
Yeah, I heard the fans were booing, which
But they celebrated them.
Yeah, they celebrated them at the end.
Yeah, they did.
Gruden was in the stands and Carr was in the stands, giving fives and wishing Merry Christmas and stuff. It was a nice ending to if they don't play in the Oakland anymore.
Well, I don't think they are. I read some articles. They don't have any place to play next year.
They don't, but it's still up in the air.
Oakland could let them come back.
They could go back there. They could play with the Chargers. I mean, they could play with the Rams
in LA.
They have a lot of options. They will find somewhere to play. It's an NFL team.
I've also heard they might play. They might play in London next year.
The whole
no, I don't see
that. They would do 4 games, 4 straight home games, 4 away games, and back here in the States, and then repeat it. That's
a tough draw. That's a tough draw. That quickly, you know what I'm saying? Barely get Mexico right.
That was Mexico's fault.
That was Mexico's fault. True. All right, we're gonna get into Week 17's prediction of the games of the week. The first game we had on tap is the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. Herman, who you have in this one there?
I'm going to go with, this is the Colts are on the road, but I'm going to go with the Colts. The hot team, a little more experienced, I feel like Tennessee's kind of young with this one, and I'm not sure, is Mariota going to play?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because of that stinger or whatever he got in his neck or his shoulder. So I'm going with the Colts.
Colts?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with you on that one, Herman. I think that the Colts, they seem to find a running game the last couple of weeks, man. I think the Titans. I can't tell which team is gonna come for them, so I'm taking the Colts. Marcus, who you got?
Well, the Colts are, I think, 7th in points per game and 13th on defensive points per game, while the Titans are 26th in offensive points per game. So I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Brian?
So it looks like it's going to be a clean sweep. We're all going to go with the Colts, even though both of the teams are both 9-6. Whoever wins this game gets the division title and goes to the playoffs. The Titans are getting 3 points in this game, which is kind of odd that they're getting 3 points. But I think it might have to do with the Marcus Mariota phenomenon. Like Herman said, he hurt his right side, his elbow, stinger, everything. So although the backup, he did well. He used to play in
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. No, not
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert. He played well against Washington in that game. He actually played better than the regular quarterback in that game to get them back to get that win against Washington. But even that Washington Titans game was kind of boring. I was a little disappointed in the way that they played until the end. So, but give me the Colts.
Marcus, I asked you.
You asked. I said the Colts. Okay.
Clean sweep.
Next game, playoff on the lines for it, man. Cleveland Browns and Baltimore Ravens. Marcus, who you got in this one?
Normally, I would be all in on the Browns, but like I said, I think the Ravens are scary right now. That defense, I think they're going to dominate that game. I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to be successful. So I'm going to pick the Ravens, even though that pretty much means the Pittsburgh is out, and I picked them to win the conference championship. I mean, the division. The division. I'm going to say the Ravens.
Ravens. Brian?
Yeah, I agree with Marcus on this one. It's at home. The Ravens need it. The Browns are okay, but, I mean, I was looking at the statistics. I mean, the Ravens have the number 1 ranked defense and the number 2 ranked rush defense. The Browns are 29th in defense and 27th against the run. So I think the Ravens are going to run it down the Browns' throats. They're going to win. And like Marcus said, unfortunately, the Steelers will be out and the Ravens will be.
Herman.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Ravens on this one, too. While the Browns have been playing some pretty good football, beating some teams here and there, this is it for the Ravens. I mean, they win and they're in. So, and they're at home. And with those stats that Brian just talked about the run defense, this is going to be a Ravens game. Now, it's going to be a close one. It's not going to be any type of blowout. It's always close with divisional games. I would probably say Ravens win this one by like 3.
And I guess I'll end this with
That's hope right there. That's hope right there.
If you had told me I would be rooting for the Browns at the end of this season for us to get in, I'd have told you you was crazy. I wouldn't believe it. I'm thinking the Browns have what it takes to beat them. I think they're going to upset the Ravens. I really do. They fight.
So you think that the Ravens are going to lose the last game of the season?
I think they're going to lose against the Browns. Yes,
against a division opponent and not go to the playoffs.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the Ravens are automatically in? If they lose, they're not in?
No, they're out.
No, if they lose, they're out.
Gone.
Oh, you gotta be crazy, boy. You know the Ravens gonna win this game. You're delusional.
That shit got a small mathematical chance.
No. If the Ravens win,
the last 2 spots. Either
the Chargers already have it.
Yeah.
And it's between the Colts and the Titans.
Yeah, Colts and the Titans.
For the other wild
they got the one, and then this one is between y'all.
Y'all's is about the division.
I can't wait to go to Cleveland. Woo! I gotta go Cleveland. Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland, man. We'll see. We'll see. The next game,
a hard pick.
I hope.
Call it whatever you want to. Call it whatever you want to for that one.
Again, the 29th and the 27th rush defense against the number 2.
Hey, we see wilder things happen. Let's just see.
Not with Cleveland.
Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. They lock up. Herman, who you got?
I'm going with the Texans. Jacksonville's mailing this one in. The Texans, I think, need this one to
win it.
No, they've already won the division.
I think they're. Let me check, bro. I think they already won.
Yeah, I think they because
probably home field.
Yeah,
they're looking for seeding, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going with the Texans on this one. They're at home, and the Jags, they're mailing it. There's nothing to ruin for the Texans. Texans are in. It's nothing that they don't have anything to play for. So,
Brian, who you got?
Blake Bortles is starting this game.
No, he's not, is he?
Yes.
Blake Bortles
Oh, wait a
is
minute.
starting
Yes,
this
he
game.
is. Yes, he is.
He beat the Texans 3 times.
Right. Let me double up on my pick.
I'm going to take the Texans on this one too. I can't see Blake Bortles coming in and rallying them to beat the Houston Texans in Texas. Not the way the way Deshaun Watson's been playing. Nah, I don't see it happening. Marcus, who you got?
I'm picking the Texans. I already said. Did I go? Oh, not picking the Texans.
They're trying to confuse me. Thank you.
They're 10th in points per game, and the defense is 6th in points per game. The Jaguars are 30th in offensive points per game.
And what's the stats on the Jaguars U-Hauls? They are packed.
So
They just mad they got a job.
Right.
They might start their vacation early.
So yeah, I'm taking the Texans.
Next game we got is a divisional game, which is may not mean too much for one team, but the other team they fight for playoff home field. That's Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. Marcus, who you got in this one?
Like you just said, this game is very important right here. This determines home field advantage. If they lose and the Patriots win, then the Patriots get the home field advantage.
They would get the number 1 seed, the Patriots would?
Yes.
Oh,
if
my
the
God.
Chiefs lose and the Patriots win. So this game is in Kansas City?
Yeah, it's in Kansas City.
Yeah, they're going to win. They got to win. They're going to, I think they know what's at stake. And the way their defense playing, they need a whole field advantage. They need it very badly. They don't want to leave Arrowhead Stadium. I guarantee you that. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one, Marcus. I'm taking the Chiefs on this one. I don't have enough confidence in the Raiders to really stop them when they need to. So I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. Herman, who you got?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Chiefs on this one. The Raiders, they had their little last hoorah on Christmas Eve, Monday night. If the Chiefs lose this game, they will lose in the first round of the playoffs.
You mean the divisional round?
Yeah, whatever round they play in, their first round, they will lose. Point blank, period. If they do not win this game, they're done. So even though they get a home game, they're done. Because if you can't beat the Raiders going into the playoffs, and then you're going to come off a bye week, and you want to get healthy on a bye, but that just means you're going to be a little out of rhythm. So whatever team comes in there, they're going to whoop them. So they better get this game so they can rest their players, feel a little better about themselves. I got the Chiefs.
Brian, who you got?
Yeah, this is a clean sweep. I'm also going with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are giving up 13.5 points in this game. So Vegas is heavily on Kansas City on this particular one. The number 1 offense, averaging 426 yards a game against the 25th ranked defense, giving up 379, almost 380 yards a game. Yeah, this isn't going to even be close.
They're 31st in points per game, and the Raiders are 1st in points per game for offense. So
yeah, it's not going to be close. They'll probably be able to set their starters.
Next week, the last game we got is the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. Another one that's going to be worth playoff potential. They fighting for the division. I'm gonna go first in this one. I'm taking the Bears. They were my hot team all season long. I think the Bears are going to rally and beat the Minnesota Vikings to take full ownership of that NFC division. Brian, who you got?
I'm gonna disagree with you, Mark. I'm gonna take the Vikings on this one, and I'll probably be lone wolf in this one, and I'm cool with that because the Vikings are good. The Bears are good too, but they're very evenly matched. I mean, you got the number 3 ranked Vikings defense against the number 4 ranked Bears defense. That's right. The Vikings defense is ranked higher than the Bears defense right now.
Really?
The Vikings are giving up four points in this game because they're playing at home. The Vikings need it. The Bears want it. The Vikings need it. They gotta supplant and make a reason and justification of this Kirk Cousins thing. They gotta get in the playoffs. They're gonna do what they gotta do to win this game. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, the Bears is just seeding for them. They can only jump up a seed, I think.
And that depends on the loss with the with the Rams,
right?
right?
On above them too. So yeah.
Marcus, who you got?
Well, Brian, you're not gonna be lone wolfing. I'm gonna pick the Vikings only because I need them to win to keep the Eagles out So,
That too.
so I'm picking the Vikings. Even though I think this should be a really good game. I'm surprised to hear that stat that you said that the Vikings defense is actually ranked higher than the Bears defense, which is
I wouldn't imagine.
hard to imagine.
Because everybody's going on and on about their Bears defense.
Well, there's a good reason for that. They're great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm picking the Vikings.
Herman?
It looks like, Mark, you're going to lone wolf this one because I'm going with the Vikings too. I just feel like Brian said, the Vikings have to have this game. They want into the playoffs. The Bears, they're going to want it. They want the game, but the Vikings have to have it, point blank. And then the Vikings are at home. The Vikings' offense has looked really good since they fired their offensive coordinator.
That is true. That is true.
Right now. And if the Vikings' defense can step up, I feel like actually – the Vikings' offense is more dangerous than the Bears' offense.
I agree with that.
So because the Bears' offense didn't do that well. They won 14 or
the last couple of games. Their offense hasn't been looking too good at all. So I'm going with the Vikings on this one. It's gonna be a good game. This is one I'm gonna have to watch. I feel like they would have, if it hadn't been the Colts Titans, they would have flexed the Bears Vikings into
probably so.
It's just that Colts Titans is just so enticing. I mean, winning your in,
they gotta play it out.
There was no question.
Actually, we're doing one more game, Mark.
No,
we are.
I thought we're not doing the Patriots and Jets.
No.
Really?
No.
Patriots, okay? Everybody's going to say the Patriots.
Done.
It's anonymous Patriots.
I mean, that game was important because, home field advantage. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
well, if Kansas City loses, which we are going to pick Kansas City, so.
Oh, that is true. We did pick Kansas.
And we're moving on to a couple of hot topics of the week. There's a couple of things went down this week. We had a Redskin player actually get cut before the end of the season, and it's their starting player. DJ Swearinger came out against said some not so great things about the coach. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we all saw the writing on the wall. You can't talk about your coach and expect not to be any type of
unless your name's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, my personal take on it is I do agree that he should have been disciplined and possibly released from the team, but I don't like the timing of it. That guy was a Pro Bowl. Some other team would have wanted him. The Redskins could have just not let him, or actually made him play this game because it doesn't really mean anything. Or they could have just benched him for this particular game. Had some conversations in the offseason and got something for this dude instead of just releasing him like that. I do agree you got to make a hard stance, but it's so wishy-washy with you picking up this one guy that's a woman abuser, that nobody else wanted, and you guys are the first ones to jump on it, but then you want to just get rid of Swearinger, who was actually one of your better defensive players. And the things he was saying were the truth. Right. He wasn't wrong with what he was saying. He just should not have brought it out in public. He should not have aired their dirty laundry. Yeah. And I understand this wasn't the first time that he did it. He's done it multiple times. But at the same time, you got to get something for this guy. You can't just cut him and get nothing for him.
Now, was he disciplined or wasn't something? Wasn't he fined or something earlier this season for coming out with some type of comments?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree with Brian. It's the end of the season. You're going home. You're not going to the playoffs. Why not try to trade him in the offseason? As a general manager, if I'm sitting up as a general manager, okay, yeah, he disrespected my coaches, whatever. If we're going to get rid of him, we're going to get something for this guy. Yeah. And you would get something for him.
Absolutely.
Probably a second rounder. You know what I mean? So to just cut him was just stupid, in my opinion. I mean, he didn't come out and say anything racial. He didn't come out and say anything that was super controversial. All he did was air your dirty laundry. So bench him for the last game of the season, fine him for conduct detrimental to the team, and then trade his butt and get something for him. You have to be smarter as an organization.
Really, what did he lose?
Swearinger?
Yeah. I mean, you basically just made him a free agent.
Yeah.
The Cardinals already picked him up.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, the Cardinals picked him up.
I didn't even hear about that. Wow.
Do you think if the Redskins were in a playoff situation where the game really mattered, you think they would have cut him?
Probably
They'd be
not.
stupid. They'd be stupid.
That would have been dumber. Even that would have been even dumber. But like, I mean, why cut him? Why cut him at all? It's the off. Get something for him.
And then
You
you
gotta
had
get
the
something
same.
for him.
You already had another safety that got in trouble with the drinking and
Yeah,
driving and fighting.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
know you're going to be short on safeties.
Right.
But
Marcus,
I know you got something to say about this.
what do you say about that, Marcus?
I mean, at this point, I don't even really care. I mean, but just typical Redskins dysfunction. I guess you can't speak the truth. I understand if you say something out of hand, say something stupid, something racial, something misogynist. But you out there speaking the truth, and it is what it is. You know you're a sorry team. If you don't want people to talk bad about you, get better. How about that? How about you get better and stop being trash? He's one of the best players we had on defense, and he won't be there next year, and defense will suck again next year. It's the same old, just dysfunction. I got no problem with what he said. I don't care. He said it out in public. It is what it is. When you go in there and you lose that game like that, it is what it is. You need to win that game against Tennessee to even have playoff hopes. I mean, it is what it is. I got no problem with what he said at all, and I had no problem with how he said it. The truth is the truth. You don't like the truth? Be better.
And see, for me, that I have a problem with him airing their laundry, but I wouldn't have cut him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something for this guy.
You were just trying to find some value.
I-
And again, he lost nothing with you cutting.
Yeah, he lost
He
nothing,
lost
and
nothing.
y'all lost a player, and you have nothing to replace it. You know what I mean? I don't even know if do you get comp picks when you do that? I don't think you get comp picks when you cut a player like that.
You don't.
So what was it? What was he? A second round draft pick? What was he?
They picked him up. He was a free agent.
He was a
They
free agent?
got him from San Francisco. Where'd y'all get him from, Marcus?
I don't even remember. I don't even know.
Yeah, I
He
just
was
look
a
at it
free
from a
agent.
football standpoint. Is you
played in Houston.
You need value.
Yeah, he was leading the team in interceptions.
Yeah, you need, and that, I mean that shows you he would have had value in the offseason for a trade.
Exactly, because the Raiders and the Packers were looking at him too. Just the Arizona was able to get to him first.
Wouldn't that have been crazy if the Packers had got him? They traded the Skins high, and then they picked up Swear.
That was hilarious.
Now, we're going into the last week of the NFL season. There's a lot of coaches on the hot seat. I got a list of coaches. I came up with possibly 13. You guys can help me narrow this down.
Yeah, I tell Mark he's a little high,
but there's a lot of coaches on here. You guys can tell me.
You better start with who I think you should start with.
Just hit me out, Marcus. You guys let me know if they're staying or they're going. So we start off with the Jets. Todd Bowles.
I say gone.
I say gone.
They say he's staying, but he might be.
They already had a
This is second year, right?
That they're talking to Jim Harbaugh behind him.
But the Jets owner came out and said it wasn't.
Yeah, but
it comes from somewhere.
Yeah, but they're going after Harbaugh.
Third,
he's out of there.
Is this the second year? This is the second year, right?
Second or third.
Third. I want to say third year.
Third.
He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, matter of fact, it is his third because the first 2 years, quarterback.
Yeah.
He's gone.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Marrone.
Staying.
You say he's staying?
I say he's
Marcus?
I say he's staying.
I think he's staying too.
I say he's gone.
I mean, last year he
last year got it.
For them to get that far in the AFC Championship and they're this sorry,
he can put all his troubles on one person.
Yeah, you know why? I think ownership's going to realize, oops,
we messed up
mistake
on
with Blake Bortles. Yeah, let's try to fix it.
Yeah, they the ones getting that big ass contract.
I think he's gone.
And the defense is still good this year. The defense is like number 5.
Yeah, defense is ranked number 5. So.
And he has some injuries too on the offensive side. I think he stays.
He stays.
Yeah, and he didn't have 4 in that for how many games?
like
8.
5 or 6, it seemed like.
The Arizona Cardinals, Steve Wilkes.
They said he's gone.
I say he's gone.
This was his first year, though, right?
This was his first
Yeah,
year.
they already said I thought they said he was gone already.
I didn't think he was a good hire,
Yeah.
to be honest, from the jump.
He's a defensive coach who doesn't.
They actually said Mike McCarthy is looking at Arizona, so I'm saying gone.
I'm pretty sure he's gone.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gone.
I'm one that's on the radar, but we see Marvin Lewis, Cincinnati Bengals.
He better be gone. He
He
needs to be gone.
should have never came back.
He needs to be gone.
Unless he leaves, I think he
Cincinnati,
stays.
yeah, because Cincinnati is lazy.
I think he stays.
They're like the anti Steelers, where like they just keep you just because they don't feel like going to shop for another.
Tampa Bay, Dirk Cutter.
Would you say, Marcus?
But he's never won a playoff game in 12 seasons.
Yeah, he's like 0-8 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Dude, once he got up around that high, yeah,
His best chance was when Carson Wentz got his knee blown up by the Steelers, and the Steelers cheated down there.
Shut up. They won. Shut up. Tampa Bay, Derek Cutter.
Out.
Gone.
Goodbye.
Marcus.
Dirk Cutter, he's gone.
Why is he gone? This is the second year? Or
Third.
third?
They've had like the top. They've had like a top 5 offense the whole year, and their defense.
I mean, if they didn't get a quarterback, I don't know. I'd be
They drafted a quarterback.
I think
He was a number 1 draft pick.
I think the Winston era in his
over.
That's his demise for him.
They're gonna start fresh. They got he's guaranteed $20 million injury next year if they pick up the 5th year.
Yes.
At this point, Tampa has to say, you know what? Let's
cut the losses.
Let's cut the losses with the quarterback, and let's cut the losses with the coach. And let's move on.
I don't know enough about the situation to make an educated guess. I'm just gonna say yes. I just go with y'all.
Denver Broncos, Vance Joseph.
He's gone.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that earlier. He's
Miami Dolphins, Adam Gase.
Gase stays.
You say he stays?
I think Gase.
Marcus?
He stays.
I say. Well, go ahead.
I say he gone.
Nah,
I say he gone.
I say he stays because he lost his quarterback for off and on.
And they were pretty competitive for most of the parts of the game.
I
mean, you beat the Patriots.
Yep, they beat the Patriots too.
Marcus, Jay Gruden.
Did you say John? Did you say John? John's staying. John is staying because he has a 10-year
Jay
contract.
Gruden, the Washington Redskins. Marcus, is he staying or going?
I got a feeling that he might stay, but I want him gone. I want him gone. I want the general manager gone. I want him and Bruce Allen gone. But I got a feeling he might survive.
Well, Bruce is not going because of the little turmoil that's going on now. They're not. Yeah, they got rid of another front office person.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Yeah, I say.
So he's not going nowhere, Marcus.
I think he stays. I think Gruden stays.
I think he does too.
I don't know why.
I think he stays too.
Gruden is safe.
I think
and he has a built-in excuse already. I mean, and not to be honest with you, Gruden did a dynamite job.
I mean, he's one of the dynamite job. Playoffs.
I mean, but the fact that they won that game against the Jaguars with your 4th string quarter who just started like a week ago.
Yeah.
And y'all did enough to get in and get that win. And then even the Titans game, they were in it. They were in that game for the most part.
I think I have to agree with you. Despite their quarterback woes,
I was just expecting like the defenses to just destroy the quarterback on every play, But they were in there and they were making play. And even Adrian Peterson was still getting rushing yards. So Jason.
So the Atlanta Falcons, Dan Quinn, staying or going?
I think he stays.
He stays.
I agree.
I think the offensive coordinator's gone. But
he definitely should be gone. He definitely should be gone.
Yeah. 2 interim coaches that are out there. Joe Philbin for Green Bay.
I don't think he keeps the job.
He doesn't keep that job.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers said he wants to keep the position.
He did go on record as saying he wanted to keep him.
Philbin didn't have a good track record in Miami.
He did.
He didn't have Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback though.
Yeah,
that's true too.
I say
Greg Williams, Cleveland Browns.
If Greg Williams beats Baltimore, I think he gets that job. Now he'll beat Baltimore; it's up in the air. But if he beats Baltimore and sends them home, I think he gets that job.
I say he should go, only because I feel like Cleveland needs an offensive coach for Big Head, whatever his name is.
But he's actually done better.
Well, he has, but
because of the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I still think it's a mistake. I think that Cleveland they got a good team. I think they need a really good coach. Greg Williams is decent. He's decent. I'll give him that. It's easy to step in and take over as interim. He doesn't really have anything to lose. He could do kind of what, he doesn't have as much pressure because he's not expected to get the job anyway. I just feel like they need a fresh start. I honestly feel like Cleveland needs something fresh.
Let me tell you what's interesting.
But just real quick, though, before we get over there, does Greg Williams, would he stay on as defense coordinator?
Probably not, just because the ego of the coaches. If I was the coach coming in, I would definitely want him to stay in as the coach. But with Baker Mayfield there, the way his little yappy mouth is, it'll be a problem. I can just see it being a problem. So, Greg Williams has to go. Maybe you pull up his linebackers coach, you just somebody like that who's usually going to take over as defensive coordinator, something like that. Somebody can run a system that's very similar to what they're running on defense.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I noticed Cleveland has done lately they've taken Baker Mayfield's plays from college and started using some of the plays. Their coordinator, they're taking a lot of the young offensive coordinators from college,
which is smart,
and taming them with
these
smart.
I mean, I'm not saying the whole playbook, but you should absolutely put a couple plays in there that the quarterback feels comfortable with and knows how to run.
And that's been one reason why he's been successful so far.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that should be coaching 101.
Yeah.
Don't force feed him your whole offense. Give him a couple things that he can do.
You use that quarterback's best benefits. His whatever he does best, you use that.
As soon as Dallas gets the offensive coordinator that realizes that, we'll be good.
Speaking of OCs though, somebody should get mad props this season is Baltimore Ravens OC. The way they've wrapped that offense around Lamar Jackson's strengths. That.
Well, it was the plan the whole time in the offseason and everything.
They were sprinkling it in there all the time. So.
Harbaugh went to the ownership and said, "I'm drafting Lamar Jackson."
That's why they went after Kaepernick. When they went after Kaepernick, that was the plan already.
Because he wanted similar quarterbacks.
We need something similar, mobile that can run. And they started the offensive coordinator. That's what he was cooking up the offseason.
Yes, I agree. And I think that saved his job too.
Yeah. Because Harbaugh was on the hot seat.
You thought Harbaugh was in trouble?
Yeah. I think he was in trouble too. I'm gonna give you the last coach, and you guys tell me what you think about this one. Steelers Mike Tomlin.
No, he stays.
Of course, the Steelers don't move like that.
Say it again, Herman.
The Steelers don't move like that.
Exactly.
I knew that. I just wanted to hear it for.
Why would they? I mean,
they only had 3 in their whole history. So.
I mean, and let's be real. Mike Tomlin would get picked up almost as soon as he got let
Oh, absolutely. I'll be afraid he's coming Redskins. So they can't let him go.
You think he'd get a head coaching job
back? Yes. He would be.
Have you watched the press conference? I want to play football for the Steelers.
First of all, there's not a coach in the NFL that does not look up to this man or admire him for what he does. Yeah. There's not a coach in there.
And he's on like
He's good.
He's a motivator.
He's good.
He's absolutely
Okay, so if they cut him, who do you think would pick him up?
Who's available?
It was about.
You got a list of them.
He wouldn't be unemployed 24 hours.
Yeah, he's one you don't got to worry about the Rooney Rule.
That is so true.
Speaking of which, the Packers interviewed Jim Caldwell.
Already?
Yeah.
That was for show.
Yep. That's the same thing I said when my son told me about it. I said, that's for show.
The Lions, I wonder how much did they regret that.
Regret what?
Letting Jim Caldwell go. Because with Jim Caldwell, they were at least in the mix for the most part. If they didn't make the playoffs, they were,
People fall in love with hiring these the offspring of Bill Belichick. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Hey, got another thing I want to ask you guys about. There's a chance that there could be both the LA teams in the Super Bowl this year. Neither one of the teams has a home right now. Both teams has the lowest fan.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare.
Wouldn't it be something if that happened?
NFL.
If both the LA teams who don't have a home, they don't have a big supporting fan base right now, will go to Super Bowl.
I don't know. The Rams fan bases seem to grow,
but they don't. Yeah, but
of course
they're stronger than
what they were than the Chargers.
The Chargers, yes, it is.
The Chargers aren't going to make the Super Bowl anyway, so it's not going to happen.
But it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I mean, they're very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Super Bowl. I
actually think the Chargers have a better chance than the Patriots.
But the NFL is looking down on that if both of them go. You know that.
Why? It's still a Super Bowl.
But because think about the fans.
But this is the thing. This will boost. That would work in their advantage. The Super Bowl is not going to take a hit just because of who's in it.
Because people just go to the Super Bowl because of the Super Bowl. So
it's going to build their fan base because if both the teams that they're putting into LA go to the Super Bowl the year before, that's going to boost their fan base for next year whenever their stadium gets finished too. That's going to boost for them. The last thing they wanted was 2 losing teams in LA this year. It would have been worse for them.
Because in LA there's so much to do and so many different choices. You don't have to sit around and watch.
You see the
plus in LA, the Lakers are king in LA anyway. So
if you guys seen the layout for the stadium, it's going to be stadium. It's going to be stupid.
It's like in the ground because it's near the airport. so they could only go up so high.
Yeah, I did remember hearing that.
So it's like way in the ground, but it's like got glass where they can ventilate in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one of the most modern stadiums out there. Like it's ridiculous.
So they'll probably have a Super Bowl in about 2 years after they have
Yeah, that's exactly that. So, fellas, had a good show. Is there any departing, anything else?
Looking forward to this last week and then these playoff games. These teams, it's been hard fought to get into playoffs this year.
It is. We talked about it earlier. I mean, there's so much mediocrity in the NFL right now, which is what they wanted. But I mean, to get down to the last week and still so many teams still fighting to get in the playoffs is really exciting.
Yeah, I don't think they want to call it mediocrity.
Yeah,
It's parity.
parity. I'm sorry, parity.
Yeah, I mean,
and you look
even the top teams that were dominating, they kind of started to slip a little bit too. So they all look like you can see the chink in their armor.
It's definitely slow.
If you guys look at it, the NFL changed this maybe about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, where they start making the last games divisional games instead of making them, teams that wasn't playing for nothing. So then, when you get down to the last week, those divisional games, they mean something. The last 2 or 3 weeks, they all mean something.
I still feel like they're overdoing it a little bit, like the Saints. They just played
the Panthers.
And then they played the Steelers, and then they're going right back to play the Panthers again.
Yeah.
That makes football at the end a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But,
But it means something.
Well, every game can't. What's the Saints Panthers game?
Can't do anything. They're done.
nothing.
Yeah,
The Saints are the number one seed.
number one
and
seed.
they-
I think Teddy Bridgewater playing in this game.
it means nothing.
Yeah, that's what they are actually. We're talking about Teddy Bridgewater coming in and starting.
So
And I mean, they already shut Cam down. So
I just feel like that's a little too cramped in. I don't have any problem with the last game, divisional game, and switch it up. Like, I'm tired of playing the Giants the last game of the season. For real. We haven't played the Eagles. We haven't played the Redskins last game of the season.
Well, but still a divisional game.
It seemed like we always play the Giants first game and the last game.
There's no creativity with that. I mean, come on. So.
All right, Mike.
Hold on, but something I want to add. We just found out today that the number one quarterback that was predicted to go like number one.
Yeah.
I forget his name, Herbert or something from Oregon.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he's decided he's gonna play. He's gonna play one more year at Oregon, which. But actually, there's another quarterback. His name is Will Greer from West Virginia. I don't know if you knew too much about him. He's very good, so he'll probably be number one pick now. So
who's jumped up in front of him? Daniel Jones from Duke. They got him rated a little higher too. Really? And don't sleep on Ohio State quarterback.
He's coming out this year.
He's coming out. Don't sleep on him either.
So we're talking about the number one draft pick being a quarterback, or
no? The number
one quarterback.
The number
first
quarterback.
Gotcha.
The number one pick is going to be Bosa. That's going to be the number one pick.
Oh, from the linebacker Ohio State. Oh,
yes, he's going to be the number one pick.
Yeah, he's going to be a beast.
Joey Bosa is younger brother. So, all right. Was there anything else we want to touch on? That's it. Marcus.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to everybody.
Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Be safe on New Year's Eve. Don't do nothing crazy. Be safe. So before we leave, I want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell icon that gets notified when we go live. I want to also encourage you to go on to sportsintel.net for great commentary and opinions on everything sports related. That's sportsintel.net. Also, give them the Twitter handle, Brian.
It's delay of game 3.
So we'll see y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, we see you next year. Bye.
Yes. See you next year.
Go Cowboys.